The 1970s, a decade of disco, flared pants, and questionable decisions in the automotive world. While this era gave birth to some of the most beloved sports cars in history, it also produced machines that made buyers wonder what the engineers and designers were thinking. Before we dive into this automotive disaster zone, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because today we're counting down the 10 worst sports cars of the 1970s. These aren't just bad cars. They are vehicles that combine poor engineering, disastrous timing, and baffling design choices into unforgettable failures. Number 10. The 1974 to 1978 Mustang II. Ford took the pony car that defined a generation and replaced it with a smaller, softer, and sadly underpowered vehicle built on the Pinto platform. It came standard with a 2.3-liter four-cylinder engine producing a meager 88 horsepower. Even the optional 2.8-liter V6 only managed 105 horsepower, while the 302 cubic inch V8, offered later, was so heavily detuned that it made just 140 horsepower, less than half of what the same engine had produced only a few years prior. The four-cylinder Mustang II took nearly 15 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour, and even the V8 struggled to get there in about 10 seconds. The handling was numb, the suspension soft, and the car overall felt like a compact dressed up in a muscle car costume. Performance was abysmal, but at least it had the Mustang badge, which offered a little consolation. Number 9. 1974 to 1978 Triumph TR7. Triumph decided to be bold with a wedge-shaped design that was supposed to scream futuristic. Some people admired the styling, but most thought it looked like a doorstop with headlights. The 2.0-liter four-cylinder engine produced 90 horsepower in the US spec models, which meant sluggish acceleration for a car weighing roughly 2,200 pounds. But performance wasn't the real issue. Electrical systems failed constantly, gauges would randomly stop working, and the car often refused to start without explanation. Lucas Electronics, famously nicknamed the Prince of Darkness, seemed determined to make every journey a test of patience. The TR7 was a car that promised excitement, but delivered constant headaches. Number 8. 1975 to 1980 Chevrolet Vega. GM introduced the Vega as an answer to rising imports, promising a modern compact with an innovative aluminum engine block. The 2.3-liter inline-4 produced 90 horsepower, but the engine block became its downfall. Overheating, warped cylinder walls, excessive oil consumption, and catastrophic engine failures were all too common. Often before the car even reached 50,000 miles, owners frequently watched blue smoke pour from the exhaust, a grim signal of impending disaster. Beyond the engine issues, the Vega suffered from rampant rust, subpar interior quality, and an overall sense of unreliability, making it one of GM's most infamous failures of the 1970s. Number 7. 1975 to 1980 AMC Pacer. AMC took a gamble by marketing the Pacer as the first wide small car. At nearly the width of a full-size sedan, but only 171 inches long, the proportions were awkward at best. The massive greenhouse-style cabin provided excellent visibility but created an oven-like interior on sunny days, especially since early models lacked effective air conditioning. Under the hood, the 3.8-liter inline-6 produced only 100 horsepower, moving a 3,000-pound car at a glacial pace. 0 to 60 miles per hour took nearly 14 seconds, and fuel economy hovered around 16 miles per gallon. It was ambitious and quirky, but ultimately impractical, and painfully slow. Number 6. 1971 to 1978 Ford Pinto. Perhaps the most infamous car on this list, the Pinto was introduced to compete with small Japanese and German imports. With a 2.0-liter four-cylinder producing just 75 horsepower, it was cheap and initially popular, offering decent fuel efficiency and practicality. But lurking behind the modest exterior was a deadly flaw. The fuel tank was positioned behind the rear axle with minimal protection. Rear-end collisions at even moderate speeds could rupture the tank, causing fires. Protruding bolts from the differential housing could puncture the tank and the filler neck might separate, spraying gasoline into the passenger compartment. The Pinto was a car that proved cheap engineering can sometimes be lethal. Number 5. 1976 to 1979 Chevrolet Chevette. The Chevette came standard with a tiny 1.4-liter four-cylinder, producing just 52 horsepower, later upgraded to 60 horsepower. Even with the larger engine, the car struggled to accelerate, taking nearly 20 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour. Highway passing maneuvers required careful planning and patience. The 4-speed manual felt cumbersome, and the optional 3-speed automatic drained what little power was available. Interiors were sparse, with vinyl bench seats, rubber floor mats, and almost no sound insulation. The Chevette was a penalty box disguised as a car, and trying to enjoy it as a sports vehicle was a cruel joke. Number 4. 1975 to 1978. Lotus Elite. Lotus tried to bring something exotic to the 1970s sports car market with the Elite, a lightweight fiberglass-bodied coupe that promised nimble handling and European flair. On paper, it sounded perfect. A small, low car with a Lotus-tuned 1.6-liter engine producing around 108 horsepower. But in reality, it was a disaster waiting to happen. The fiberglass body panels were prone to cracking, and the chassis flexed more than it should, causing alignment and handling issues. The interior was Spartan, with cheap plastics and awkward ergonomics that made long drives uncomfortable. Maintenance was a nightmare. Parts were expensive, rare, and difficult to source in the United States. Even routine repairs could turn into multi-day projects. The Elite was fast enough to excite in short bursts, but reliability issues, electrical quirks, and constant mechanical headaches made it a car that promised the thrill of a Lotus but delivered more stress than speed. Number 3. 1978 to 1979. Chrysler LeBaron. Built on Chrysler's outdated R-body platform, the LeBaron retained body-on-frame construction, while competitors had moved on to modern unibody designs. Buyers could choose a 225 cubic-inch slant 6, producing 110 horsepower, or one of several optional V8s, all strangled by emissions equipment. The 360 cubic-inch V8 produced just 140 horsepower, while slightly upgraded versions reached 170 horsepower, far below what these engines were capable of just a few years prior. Build quality was horrendous. Panel gaps were inconsistent, doors didn't align properly, electrical gremlins were everywhere, fuel economy hovered around 13 miles per gallon, and the car weighed over 3,800 pounds. It was awkward, slow, and an exercise in frustration that perfectly captured Chrysler's struggles in the late 70s. Number 2. 1971 to 1973. Chevrolet Vega Kammback. The Vega wagon took all of the Vega's problems and added a few more. The longer body increased weight while retaining the same underpowered engines, 0 to 60 miles per hour stretched beyond 15 seconds, and the longer floor pan created more surface area for rust. Hatch seals leaked constantly, allowing water to rot the cargo area from above while road salt attacked from below. The Kammback Vega compounded the misery of the platform and reminded buyers that adding weight to a flawed design only makes matters worse. Number 1. Last but not least, we have the infamous 1974 to 1980 AMC Gremlin. The Gremlin was more than just a bad car. It was a rolling disaster that perfectly encapsulated American Motors Corporation's struggles. In the 1970s, introduced on April Fool's Day, 1970, the design was literally the rear half of an AMC Hornet chopped off with a hacksaw. The stubby rear, awkward proportions, and bizarre side profile made it one of the ugliest cars ever produced. AMC leaned into the ugliness with the name Gremlin, admitting it looked like a creature from a horror movie. Build quality was uneven, paint was thin and prone to chipping. Electrical systems were unreliable and rust appeared almost immediately around the rear wheel wells. The Gremlin wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of ambition gone horribly wrong.